everyone, and welcome to another video by Fitness Technology Services. I'm going to start doing my videos on this Nordictrack Elliptical that you're looking at. It was sent to me as a repair, so I'm going to kind of do this hopefully in a more organized fashion than what I did on the Soul Elliptical, kind of jumbled. I got to tell people what video to look at. So this is going to kind of be, I'm going to start out with the maintenance, and then one's going to be turning off the arms, two's going to be the legs, then the disc. So I'm just going to kind of try and do it in some kind of organized order, so it's not so hard for you guys to find the videos that you're looking for the repair that you need. So anyway, I don't want to talk you to death on that. I'm just kind of introducing you to the machine. That way, if you have a Nordictrack that looks similar to this, also these type of procedures will also work on the Pro form. It's really going to be whether or not it's the same frame shape as this. After that, it won't really matter. So I guess that's it for talking. Oh, please subscribe. Thank you very much for viewing. And let's get to it. Thanks a lot. All right, well, here we go. So this is going to be the new Nordictrack that I'm going to be doing a lot of videos on. I'm going to start with the maintenance, like I said. The first thing I'm going to show you is what you don't need to bother with are these two outside pieces here. They're really just caps. They don't have a purpose to anything. I guess it's just to cover up maybe the weld mark from where the axle goes through. Same thing with this one. So I'll leave that out, really. You don't need to really worry about that. What you're trying to accomplish is lubricate here, and lubricate on this other side that you don't see, but I'll take it apart so you can see it. Again, this is just a cap, so really no need to lubricate down there. There's no connections, no springs or nothing in the pedal, so there's really no need to lubricate there. It's really just these connections, and I don't know if you can see it. Get a better in view right there, and this cap right here. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it apart. So the one thing that you have to be careful of when you excuse me, when you do the Nordictrack is these little covers are pressed in. So you can't find any screws for them because the screws are actually on the inside of the pressed in cover. So for that, you might be able to get away with one, but I like to carry two flatheads with me so I can try them out. So let me get on the other side here and you'll see what I mean. And that will go double for that. So this is pressed into the other cap. So you can either, if you get lucky, and press it down really hard, it will pop out. And these clip right into the other side right there. Alright? See, at some point this one cracked. So that's going to happen. Alright? Then this piece here is held in by this Phillips. So you'll need some kind of Phillips. I'm going to use my drill. You can use one by hand. Drill's always faster, so I'm going to pick that. Alright. So just so I don't lose a lot of stuff, I'm going to put both these caps over here. So now you're down to this naked joint right here. I'm going to go ahead and remove this cap. Kind of the same theory. You could potentially need two flatheads for that. So we're going to push this in. Okay, come on. There we go. So we're pushing it in. Because I see a lot of these broken. So, you know, this one's kind of tough right here. So I'm going to say it seems like it's right about here and push in right there. So again, this is pressed into here by the same type of hole setup. Alright, so then we got to come over here, try not to get in your way. We have to remove these two Phillips right here. Just like that. All right. So, I'm just going to get those out of the way. We don't need them. Mainly what we want to do is get to here, and I guess get to here too. So this is a 1/2 inch, it looks like. That's what I got ready. So that's a 1/2 inch. Got a 13.2 in case I was wrong. So we're going to drop this connection right here. I'm going to leave the bolt on the other side because I'm just going to push the axle through. Got a little spacer right here that fills in this gap right here. And do I need my tool for that? Nope, I don't. Good, so that pulled through. That was supposed to be for the next video on how to remove that. So I'm still going to keep that in the cover. I'm not going to remove that. So this looks like it's bearing loaded. So lube won't make too much of a difference really on it. I thought this was a bushing loaded elliptical really. So that's kind of good, to be honest with you. All right, so now we need to take some type of Allen. Just let that swing around. Here like that. Yep, same type of Allen. Sorry, my Allens are old and worn out. That's probably a 4.5, maybe a 5. I know it's definitely under a 6. I'm going to do it by hand. Bearing loaded again. Wow. All right. Way to go. All right. So in theory, I guess I'm going to go over how to lubricate it, but that's really more for bushings than bearings. When I opened this up, I thought there was going to be a lot of bushings inside of there. So that's actually pretty good. So we're just going to check it. I should have probably turned this into a replace parts on that. That's pretty good. All right, so I think I can get to both sides of that really quick. So I won't need to fully take that apart. A lot of people ask me what type of lubricant I use. So hopefully I'm going to give you a good picture of that. I like the Super Lube for a couple reasons. For one, it's clear. If I make a little boo-boo, it doesn't really show up too much. It's also what is usually recommended by the manufacturers. I've been to a couple of different classes, and this is usually the brand that they recommend. And third, I like the feel and consistency of it, really. So I'm going to put that out the way. I lost my top to the other one, so I'd rather use this lube. So I didn't fully remove this because, let me get you away again. I can get to both sides, and the center of this is hollow. So let me get something. Use another Allen. Oh, that's actually enough room. I can put my finger in there. Got my Allen all dirty for nothing. Alright, so we're just going to put a little bit of lubricant in there, because really, since the hollowness of the metal, only the very two ends of the axle need to be lubricated. The other part of it doesn't really matter too much. So that's going to be pretty simple, really. It's a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be. So let's see if this is a 1/2 inch too. I think this axle runs all the way through, and all that would have to be replaced and push this axle through, so I'm not going to do that. Again, just because it's bearing loaded, you don't really need to lubricate it at all. So I guess you would have to pop the other side off and hold this nut and hold that nut and turn this one at the same time to remove these arms. But I don't really think there's any reason to do that. There's really not a lot to maintenance this. This is a it's pretty good elliptical, really. This is a plastic ramp rail right here, so you don't really get anything out of lubricating that. We could just potentially pick up dust, cause issues. Maybe you could wipe it down a little bit, because again, that's a very hard plastic, and it's kind of on top of this metal roller. So I don't think you really would have to do anything with that, unless you're having a noise or something with your wheel running back and forth. All right, but no noise, I would say no worry. All right, so we have to straighten that up a little bit to get that to go in. So we'll come back over here, get the weight off of it, slide that back in. That's why I like the clear lube. Then I don't have ucky fingerprints anywhere. All right, so we're going to bring this back down. So you can see this was lubed a little bit before. But again, when you're lubing something with bearings in these newer style sealed bearings, the actual bearing is in between this raceway and the center raceway. So you're really not lubricating the bearings at all. I guess if your bearings went bad and you had to replace them, that would kind of be the same procedure that we're going through. So this is going to connect back down to here like this. And this I think I'll lubricate just to make it easier to put back on. So I'm going to be learning a lot of differences on this Nordictrack as time goes on. Like I said, I didn't even know it was bearing loaded. I thought it was probably bushing loaded, judging by the price. This was sent to me as a service call. This machine, at the end of all these videos, is actually going to have a service call attached to it. So I'm also kind of doing this for the customer so he can see how to do it. So the one key about that is, don't forget, it had this little spacer in it, and the spacer feels yucky. So I'm assuming the yucky spacer I need some lubricant on that. If it had it before, why not? So we'll put that right there so it don't get any carpet junk on it. Let's see why this is not going through. This has got to line up here a little better. Alright, so when you got something like that, oh darn it, I want to show you my little trick. Sometimes I have to put the bolt in and suck it through, but that one went through. So then we're just going to line this one up. Lines up pretty easy. But I would say this is one where if it's not making any noise, I wouldn't worry too much about it. And if it is making some kind of noise in these joints, it might be bearing replacement time, really. All right, so I'm holding on to this other side over here. I guess you can get that idea. And just tighten it down. Put the little spacer in. That was pretty easy, really. And put this little cap on here. So I know Nordictrack has a lot more complicated stuff than this. They do all that eye fit and that fancy stuff. So I'm sure as I get more involved with them, they don't all be like this. I'm trying to put this in a good spot where I can get to it and be lazy and use my impact. I don't want to make it too tight. That's pretty good. I mean, that's really about it on our maintenance. Again, remember that these little things are kind of tricky. It's got this hole here. You're going to slip this through here. Then you're going to put the screw in here. I've got a drill somewhere for that. And whenever you're dealing with plastic, if you have a setting, don't be like me, don't have it on drill. Have it on a lower setting like 4. That way it won't get too tight. There we go. And this piece, I would imagine we got to be kind of gentle with that. Be a bummer if that broke. Probably don't need it all together right there. Looks lined up. Pressed in. Press in. Something like that. And this piece is going to go back up here. Got this, looks like it goes in this hole. This goes in that hole like that. Then these two are poking out here. So this is going to take this. Now, if you're doing a full complete maintenance, you'll do the same thing to the other side, and then you'll have that bolt here exposed on the other side, and you can go ahead and remove that axle and lube it up. If you think you need to, I'm not quite sure with bearings. Again, a lot of times with bearings, you're not really actually getting lube inside the bearings. You're just lubing the outside of it. Couldn't hurt to check this arm. Nope, that's tight. So that's something I forgot to do in the video. It couldn't hurt to tighten this down. That's probably the same 1/2 inch. Yep. Nope, that's plenty tight. I'm a little weak and getting old, so maybe a combo on that. But that's actually pretty tight. Alright, so then we put our 2 screws back in. I'm going to see what side is upside down and what's right side up. Hopefully I'm not blocking you. And we're just going to pop that in like that. Then I'll put those covers back on. But that's fairly easy for the first video on Nordictrack maintenance. Again, I would just clean this. I really wouldn't put any grease down here. There's really no purpose. You're greasing plastic. So if you're not having any noises or any issues, just leave that alone. Alright? So it'll be more fun when I get further into it with the service call. I'll put the cover back on, but that's another video. And I guess that's really about it. So there's my introduction to Nordictrack elliptical maintenance. And I'll start doing the next ones. Thanks. Oh, hey guys. So just a little follow-up on my elliptical maintenance. I might just put this in the end of it in a little blurb. I went ahead and took the covers off. Again, just so you can see. So you're going to have to, if you want to mess with this axle, you're going to have to, because it'll spin, you're going to have to take both covers off, which I've already done. hold one side with a wrench or another socket set, and then you can remove this bolt. Alright, and then the same thing is down there. I'm not going to remove the other bolt. I would just physically push this back and put a little lubricant there. I don't really think you need to, because it's, again, bearing loaded. If there's no noises and everything's working efficiently, I wouldn't worry about it too much. So I also want to show you, a lot of times when these holes don't line up perfectly, put your bolt in. I'm going to hold this side over here, and it will just pull itself into place. Like so. Alright, so I just want to add that to it. Don't know if you really have to do it or not, but just in case somebody says they had to do it, I just want to show that you have to hold both of these bolts at the same time to get one side to spin out, and then you can just push the axle in, lubricate it, and take it from there. Alright, don't know if that helps you or not, but thanks a lot.